Yo, chat.
Ian
Yeah, I
on
know we got
YouTube is
a.
a channel run by 30.
Yeah, I know we got the scary reactions going though. Baby, links in the description. Gotta go fuck with them. Follow me on Instagram. Slide on Ezo on Instagram. New YouTube channel. I mean, new YouTube page. You feel me? Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, big things coming because I finally got an editor. I got an editor, bro. I got an editor, bro. Hey, shout out Kuno, bro. Probably, probably gonna link his shit in the description and on my page too. So y'all just let me know. Feel me? What y'all want to see? Have bro chop it up. Yeah, let's get into it.
Ian on YouTube is a channel run by 30-year-old Ian who's been posting on the platform for the better part of a decade. His content covers everything from day in the life work vlogs to different adventures after hours. And while most of it is nothing more than fun, one particular encounter left him shaken to his core. On January 18th, 2024, Ian posted a video going over the disturbing experience he had while stealth camping in a McDonald's parking lot in Palm Springs, California. Stealth camping, for those who don't know, is when someone spends the night in a vehicle or tent in an area not officially designated for camping, usually while trying to avoid detection. It's often done out of necessity, curiosity, or simply for the thrill of it. And while it can be harmless, it also means the camper is completely exposed and vulnerable to whatever or whoever might be lurking nearby. This is exactly what happened with Ian on the 16th of January 2024. He'd been stealth camping for quite some time by that point and had spent nights in much harsher conditions, like during heavy rain or in a sandstorm. So, staying overnight in a McDonald's parking lot seemed like nothing to him. Unfortunately, he couldn't have been more wrong. After setting everything up, he went to lie down in the back of his car. But just as he was about to fall asleep, he was interrupted by the sound of someone repeatedly trying to open his car's door. He immediately got up to see who it was, and this is what he came across.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing? Hey, Fort New.
There was a man standing
Bro,
outside the
what the
passenger
fuck?
door.
My bad. What's up, J Ron?
Get off the game, Nick. Go enjoy outside, Nick.
Nah, it looks kind of scary outside. I'd rather not.
Bro, it is about to pour down, though.
I know. Where are you at?
Get the oil change.
Uh,
What made the encounter even
Hush
more
up. I'm making a
unsettling is
reaction
that the man
video.
never said a word, even as Ian repeatedly called out to him, trying to get some kind of explanation for what he was doing.
Hey, bro. What's up? What you doing, man? Hey, weird, bro.
Despite his panic, however, he made the wise decision to stay locked within his car and quickly drive to a more hidden spot in the lot. But that wasn't enough, because just a few minutes later, Ian spotted the same man walking around the parking lot, possibly trying to locate his car. Fearing for his safety, he drove to a completely different location and managed to sleep through the rest of the night without any incident. Still, the question remained, who was this man and what exactly was he trying to do? Ian never made a follow-up or shared any more info regarding the encounter in the video's description, so we can only speculate on what happened that night. Now, it's entirely possible that he was just a harmless, mentally
There's
ill
no
person looking to
reason
fully
for you to
commit
even be
suicide.
doing this shit to begin
This
with.
could explain why he didn't answer
This is
when Ian
like the
called out to
dumbest
him
shit
and
ever.
just calmly walked away without a word. However, a far more likely explanation is that the act of trying to break into Ian's car was completely intentional, and when he was caught, he just acted confused and harmless to seem less threatening. Perhaps he really thought the car was empty and was trying to steal it. Or maybe he knew Ian was inside and had intentions to rob him or something far more sinister. His strange behavior also suggested that he might have been under the influence of some kind of drugs, which would have made him even more unstable and, by extension, more dangerous. Fortunately, Ian managed to drive away unscathed before he could find out the man's true intentions. On February 11th, 2024, stealth camping YouTuber Brendan Explores
Like,
posted a
there's
video
niggas
of
who do
himself
this
and Ian
shit
in the small
on
Jay Lake
YouTube for a
Canyon.
living.
The thing about Jay
Like,
Lake, however, is that it's been dubbed as
what?
the most deprived town in all of England. The combination of high unemployment and poor living conditions has pushed many of its residents toward a life of crime. Brendan, however, wanted to see the village firsthand to decide whether it was truly as bad as the media made it out to be. His first impressions of the place were quite good, with him admiring the natural landscape surrounding the village. What he didn't realize at the time was that this lighthearted escape to the countryside would soon spiral into complete disaster. It began with him driving through the town and searching for a discreet spot to...
I don't know if I can hear my fan in the background, but if y'all can, y'all just gotta deal with it. It's fucking blazing hot in my room.
But it didn't take long for him to start noticing a series of red flags in the area, like people riding around with gangster rap blaring from a speaker. And a group of street racers speeding down the road right in front of the parking lot. As the evening approached, he was also left alone in the parking lot, making him a prime target for any would-be robber. So, after thinking about it for a few minutes, he thought it would be best to leave the parking lot and find a more secluded spot for camping. He eventually went down a dirt trail and parked in the middle of nowhere, without any houses or major roads nearby. This turned out to be the worst decision Brendan could have made in that situation, because at around 2:30 a.m., about 4 hours after he went to sleep, he was woken up by the sound of someone walking around his van. This person then tried to open the van's sliding door. But before Brendan even had a chance to fully understand his predicament, this happened.
Hey!
Whoever this person was shattered the passenger side window before running away once Brendan started shouting. In the video's description, Brendan speculated that this person was likely trying to steal the mini refrigerator he had on the passenger seat. While this might not be entirely accurate, there's still some truth behind it. Judging by the fact that the intruder fled the moment they heard Brendan, it's likely they were simply looking to steal something, nothing more. As for how they managed to find his van in the middle of nowhere, it's entirely possible that they stalked him from when he was in town. However, given these circumstances, this situation could have turned out a lot worse. As one comment under the video pointed out, when you said you had found the perfect quiet spot after driving away from town down a quiet pitch-black lane in the middle of nowhere with nobody else around for miles, at that point I was absolutely terrified. How on earth you managed to go to sleep to begin with amazes me. A few blokes with their hoods pulled down and armed, and you wouldn't have stood a chance. While nothing truly tragic
A
occurred,
few
this
blokes.
was terrifying enough to rattle Brendan. Instead of staying the night, he drove through the darkness until daybreak just to make it back home, which was ultimately the right call. He's still making stealth camping videos, but now he's far more cautious about where he parks, especially when it comes to remote or isolated spots. In March of 2025, a camping YouTuber named Daniel Mark Brown planned a stealth camping trip in the woodlands surrounding Oswestry, England. His plan was simple: travel alongside one of the many hiking trails in the area and then go off-trail to find a good stealth spot. And this worked better than he expected, finding the perfectly hidden camping area in no time. After setting down his supplies, Daniel went to the nearby river to cook a meal before heading back to the spot he'd found earlier. By the time he came back, it was already starting to get dark and the trail was starting to empty out, giving Daniel the peace of mind to wind down and call it a night. However, what happened next made him realize the true danger he was in. After laying out his sleeping bag, settling down, and finally falling asleep, 90 minutes had passed when he was suddenly jolted awake.
100% been spotted. Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm. I'm almost too scared to breathe here. I think a dog or something just came in.
Daniel was woken up by the cracking of branches, followed by the light from a flashlight. He eventually found the courage to unzip his sleeping bag to see who was out there.
Oh, that's right. They're looking straight at me. Right, I'm trying not to panic.
By this point, he couldn't think of anything else to do but call out to the person who was now aiming the flashlight at him. But instead of getting a reply of any kind, the person just turned around and disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again.
Hello?
I haven't seen a single light now for maybe 5-10 minutes.
Okay, wait. So instead of like bringing a whole setup, your ass just bring a fucking sleeping bag that covers your head. Not a pistol, not a knife, not nothing to defend yourself besides your two hands. And then you don't even have a tent to give you enough space to move for. It's the dumb shit I be talking about.
I've been just trying to keep as calm as possible, but when they walked off and the light went out, I don't even know which direction they were, but somewhere in that direction. I'll forget it. Let's just go.
This experience startled him enough to quickly pack his stuff and hightail out of the wooded area. However, if the person with the flashlight had malicious intent, leaving the campsite wasn't going to be an easy task. The way they refused to respond to Daniel's hello was unsettling enough. But how they silently turned off their light and disappeared into the woods suggested they might have been hiding, waiting to ambush him to rob him, or possibly worse. That being said, it's entirely possible that the mysterious person was just someone walking their dog at night or something else completely innocent. As for why they didn't reply to Daniel, it's possible they were just as scared as he was after hearing a hello from the darkness of the woods. However, we also can't rule out the possibility that they were trying to sneak up on Daniel for some sinister reason, only turning around once they realized they'd been spotted. Whatever the case may be, Daniel made it out of the woods safely without encountering the same person again.
Niggas really do this shit for like
Are an elderly duo from the UK who travel around the country in their camper van while
older
recording
people.
adventures on YouTube. In November of 2022, they were on one of their trips when they had to urgently travel back home due to an emergency.
Anything that happens to older people just makes me feel 10 times worse. Like, young people doing it, bro, okay, you're fucking retarded. But the older people, bro, like, they have nothing going on. Like, they're just trying to live out the rest of their days. And y'all coming through bothering them and shit. Like, I can't.
However, they were too far away to make it back in one day. After searching online, they found a stealth camping spot on the outskirts of a town called Altrium. It was a fairly small car park, but the couple was in a hurry, so they didn't have any other choice but to camp there for the night, hoping to get back on the road the next morning. What they didn't expect, however, was that this would spiral into the most terrifying experience of their entire camping journey. By the time they got to this location, it was already dark out. They parked their van and settled in for the night, going to sleep at around 11 p.m. But then at 1 a.m., both of them woke up to the sound of loud music blaring from a car. However, the music stopped soon after, so they brushed it off and began settling back into their bed. That's when they both heard a disturbing bang coming from their own van. It was loud enough that they thought a tree had fallen onto their van. They quickly rushed outside to see what had happened, and this was the shocking sight they came across.
Just can't believe it. We've just been woken up with a loud bang, and you dropped something on the floor there. Was that glass? 2 bricks, and someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while we were sleeping. So no, we don't recommend this as a place to stop. They smashed the window screen, but Graham's hoping he can drive with that. But here's us in the middle of nowhere with a broken window and a cracked windscreen, about 200 miles from home.
After some investigation, they found 3 bricks around the van, which was severely damaged. The windshield was cracked, the passenger side window was completely shattered, and the van had a massive dent behind the sliding door. More troubling than the physical damage to the van was the psychological impact on Ellie and Graham, who were now absolutely terrified. It's also possible that this could have been a trap designed to lure them out of the safety of their locked van. However, even after hours had passed, no one approached the couple, attempted a break-in, or made any kind of move toward them. But instead of bringing comfort, this only made the two even more unsettled. They were just attacked with multiple bricks, yet they had no idea who did it and why. After talking to the family from another camper van that was parked nearby, they learned that the attacker came in a car, as the other family heard tire screeches after the attack. Ellie and Graham also figured that this was a group effort because despite the multiple bricks, there was only one collision sound. In other words, there were at least 3 suspects who threw bricks at the same time. Why would anyone attack an elderly couple out of nowhere and then leave without
Right.
getting anything from it? Maybe they just wanted to scare off campers for whatever reason. But if that were the case, why was the other van spared completely? Unfortunately, there's really no clues to help answer these questions. No faces
You got
were
nothing
seen,
out of
no
that.
voices were heard, and no clear motive ever emerged, leaving the entire incident a complete mystery. And while Ellie and Graham were too scared to ever go stealth camping again after this incident, it seems by now they've since made a complete recovery and are back on the road again. On the 15th of July,
They
2022,
thumbnails better than
an
mine.
abandoned camper uploaded a video of her stealth camping in an abandoned cemetery from the 1800s. Things started off quite normal as she found a clearing hidden in the thick foliage and began unpacking her camping gear. After setting up camp, she decided to explore the cemetery to pass the time until nightfall. And that's when things started to take a strange turn. As she was filming the gravestones, she began to hear what sounded like a bunch of kids screaming.
Nah, cause why do I hear that too? Bro, that sounds like I used to live next to a school, but that sounds like a whole bunch of kids at recess. Or you feel me, like a class or two at recess. But question number one is, right, why the fuck are you here? You know, like, why are you, what do you get out of being here? You gain nothing from being here.
She was alone in the cemetery. However, she could not have been more wrong. As she was going back to her camp, she saw a group of kids in the distance who likely knew about her presence.
So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here right now, but there are kids here, like young kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind of party in the forest or something? That dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? Hear them? I think they know I'm here. That's not good.
At this point, she was pretty certain that the kids knew about her and were just messing with her. However, she still kept her camera rolling just in case, and even made sure that she wasn't followed back to the campsite.
I'm gonna keep this recording. Just in case. But I'm also gonna stop and find out what they're doing. If they're actually watching me or not. Oh, I can see them. I just don't want them to see where I'm going. Okay. I think they're gone.
Once back at her stealth campsite, she started a small fire to cook her food. Unfortunately, this turned out to be a huge mistake, because shortly after starting the fire, she started hearing the sound of people talking and walking toward her in the forest.
There are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here when I think the coast is clear.
It's unclear what the kids' intentions were, and we likely won't ever know, as she made the wise decision to avoid any risk by packing up her things and quickly leaving the cemetery.
Shouldn't have been there in the first place.
As quiet as possible.
Man, y'all niggas stay tapped in, y'all. Fuck with the links in Discord. I got an editor, so my bigger projects be, you feel me, well edited, well taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just stay tapped in.